How are you?
Hi, Felicia. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. And hello, everyone on Facebook. Hello on Instagram. Hope you had a great day.
Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome Instagram, welcome YouTube, welcome Facebook. Welcome to today's Hot Mom Live Conversations. My name is Ediri, and our topic today is understanding emotional eating. Emotional eating. And our guest speaker is Constantine Alina Gabriela.
Hello.
She's a wellness coach, and she has 4 years experience in nutrition and wellness with national and international courses on nutrition and healthy lifestyle. She has helped over 300 people in obtaining results in remodeling their bodies, in increasing their energy levels, and improving their overall well-being. She's passionate about nutritional education and supporting people in different generations to have a healthier lifestyle. She's also a colleague. Gabriela, welcome to Hot Mom Live Conversations, and say hi to our viewers.
Hello. Thank you very much for the invitation. Hi, everyone on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Very nice to meet you all. Very pleased to be here. Indeed, Felicia is a colleague, and I'm very happy that we are doing this project together. I saw that she talks a lot about overall well-being. She's a life coach, and I think wellness can also provide some added value to answer to your questions, to see what you struggle with, and we propose today to come with some solutions to help you have an overall healthy lifestyle, because of course it includes different phases from physical, mental, emotional, but we will talk more about that later.
My viewers, are you one of those who eats for reasons other than hunger? If you're not sure about that, I think you can ask yourself why you eat what you eat. You know, like when you want to eat, why are you eating? When you're not hungry, yeah? The goal of today's session is to bring awareness to our eating habits and the why. You know, always ask yourself why you do the things you do, right? I always talk about that in my live sessions. We need to train our minds to become a bit more curious about what we put in our mouth and try to notice and name the associated emotion. You know, when you want to eat, you're not hungry, but you want to eat, try and understand that emotion behind you wanting to eat that food. If it's not because of hunger, then you have to ask yourself what exactly you're feeling, you know, that feeling that wants to make you to eat that food. You might be thinking that to control something as basic as putting food in your mouth is the easiest thing to do. You might be wrong. You might be wrong. You might also be the type that struggles with eating right, yeah, and you just keep throwing things into your mouth. I mean, your body is not a dumping ground. No, always remember that. And after eating, you say to yourself, oh, why can't I even stop eating? What's wrong with me? And then you begin to ask yourself all these questions. Like I said, remember, your body is not a dumping ground for food. And I also let you know that emotional eating is one of the hardest addictive habits to break. So Gabriela is here today to help us to understand the topic and to also help us to have a better relationship with food. So on this note, I think I will hand over to Gabriela. Yeah, so if you have anything to say, you say before I go into the question session.
Sure. Thank you for the introduction, and I like a lot what you're doing. And I think it's very important, exactly what you say, for us to be conscious about what we are doing, to understand why we do the things that we are doing, because this is a very important ground. It's a very important thing where to start, because indeed many people nowadays in this era of speed are always rushing, are doing lots of stuff for job, for family, for different other areas, but unfortunately they forget about themselves. Lots of people do not eat at a table, eat in front of a TV or while doing something at work or different stuff, and that doesn't allow them to eat consciously, and they overeat, or some people don't eat enough, and there are different patterns with different behaviors that affect not only how someone looks, but how someone feels, the emotions, the mental state, the focus, the energy. And I think this is why it's important to start with being aware with what we are doing. This is a very good start for everything we want to improve in our life.
So what exactly is emotional eating, and how does it differ from physical hunger? I think
Well,
yeah.
yeah, well, emotional eating is when you feed your emotions, not your cells. In the physical hunger, your body starts gradually, step by step, to help you understand that you're hungry. All your systems, your endocrine system, your digestive systems, your neurological systems are interacted. They are interacting. They are sending are sending signals to the brain for you to start to understand that you're hungry. But in the emotional eating, you find the craving suddenly. You don't know why you are at night in the fridge looking for a cake, and that is something that in for the moment creates pleasure. For the moment, of course, the dopamine that it's secreted, it makes you feel very good because it's the reward, the pleasure center are very happy. But very soon after that, you start to feel guilty, you start to feel bad. The emotion apparently went away, but afterwards start to come back because you cannot run from yourself. Because what emotional eating is trying to shut down, to stuff down an emotion by eating, going to something that offers you a pleasure in the moment. But what happens is that afterwards you start to not feel good, you start to feel guilty, and all this creates a vicious circle, and you start to eat maybe more than what you actually needed. Because it's important to understand and try to be aware of what we are doing so that we see if the hunger starts gradually, step by step, and it's for a variety of food, or if it's something very quick that appears for a very, very, very specific, like for a chocolate, for a cake with 3 layers of I don't know what. So it's something very specific that usually it's a craving for sweet, or a craving for something salty, or a craving for something greasy. And here, well, it's a bigger discussion because it can be because you're trying to shut down an emotion, to not think about the fact that you're sad, or it can happen that you didn't eat enough during the day and your body is trying to compensate. So there may be different ramifications after that. But this is the main difference.
Hmm. Hmm. Talking about feeling guilty about food, there was a time I tried to practice veganism. I did it for 1 whole year, and by the second year, it was getting a bit too difficult for me. So, like my friend, there was a friend then that I had in Nigeria. When she comes to my house, she would come with food, good food that I normally would eat, and I would try to hold myself back. I don't want to eat, but then later on, I will go and eat it even when I'm not hungry. I will just go and say, this food, I like it, I will eat because of the smell of the food or because of the way the food looks. So, but then when I finish eating, I will go back and say, oh my, why did I eat this thing? I begin to feel guilty. I'm on a journey. Why can't I just keep and be disciplined in this journey? So it's something that I've experienced, like I've experienced something in that light a little bit. So I understand that aspect of feeling guilty after eating. So I hope that at the end of the session, all of us will do better in our struggle with food.
Yeah, I understand very well because I also struggled with that a lot. And I was trying to understand better why this behavior is happening. And if we go to the root cause, it may be from different reasons. One of the reasons may be that when we were kids, our parents, when we were sad, they offered us something sweet to not feel sad anymore. Like, oh, you got hurt or you're crying. Oh, take something sweet, take a chocolate. Or someone comes to you, a relative, they say, oh, what a cute kid, take a chocolate. If you did something good, if you did something that you achieved, they offer you something to eat. So we start to associate those emotions, the reward or being sad, to eating. So what our brain understands, okay, so when I'm sad and I'm eating something sweet, I feel good. So with this behavior, of course, the parents don't know they are doing that. It's something that, every parent wants the best for the kid. But if you offer only sweet things to the kids when they are sad, they can start to associate and develop a mechanism of coping with those emotions, understanding and remembering that they felt good when they ate that something sweet, for example, and they will do it again without even realizing, because it may happen, you have a fight with someone, or you're angry or you're upset about something, and you find yourself in the fridge, and in a few minutes you don't understand what you're doing, and everything has a root cause. This is why it's important to breathe and start to see and to understand what you are doing.
What are some common triggers that lead to emotional eating? I need you to break it down a bit, because even though I don't really have enough people watching now, but people from my country, yeah, they will. It's. I think it's good for them to understand these kind of things. Where I come from, we don't really break down these things, So, like you saying, a child that was rewarded for doing something good or for crying was rewarded with food that can affect that child later on as an adult. That is big for me. That is, and I'm sure a lot of people back home too do not understand this type of thing. So I would like you to actually break it down. What are some of the common triggers that lead to emotional eating?
Sure. Well, it may happen from different reasons. One of the reasons why it's very common and many people struggle with emotional eating is that they are stressed. Many people nowadays, I think it's something unfortunately very common to lots of people. And many people find themselves eating when they are stressed, even if they are stressed for work. So for what maybe the triggers? Maybe a trigger that you're stressed for work, and then you bring your work home, even though you should try to let it go and focus on your personal life. But lots of people find themselves in the position when they get home and they still think about the project, about the issue, about what the boss said, about what the colleague said, about the deadline of the project. And they find themselves being so stressed, they don't even realize that they start to eat. And usually they eat what they find. They don't go to put themselves on a table with the family and eat something, complete meal. They are just snacking. You know that snacking, even snacking at the office, snacking in the car, snacking while going to the supermarket, snacking while at home, or sometimes it happens snacking at night, opening the fridge and looking for everything what happens there. And the reasons may be the stress, maybe that you are sad, maybe that you had an argument with someone and you're still thinking about that. So it's something about some emotions, some deep emotions that you don't pay attention to, because this is why this is happening. If you don't pay attention to your emotions, they will make you notice them, even with emotional eating, or if it's prolonged stress, it may arrive to something else, to some physical pain or some different things, for you to be aware that something is wrong and you need to pay more attention to your body and to your feelings. So next time you have maybe an argument, let's not say a fight, maybe you have an argument with someone, try firstly to clear things up if possible, the most possible, to talk, to communicate, to clear things out. It will help you a lot. If it's something that happened at work and you cannot control, I think a coping mechanism can be to focus on what you can control. If it was something that happened and wasn't in your control, you need to let it go. You need to know that you did all the best you could and then let it go. Because if you find yourself in your home while you should spend time with your kids, you still think about a deadline from work and just snack lots of, I don't know, chips or something sweet, or people have cravings for different things, is because they don't cope with those emotions. And it's important to understand, to coming back to the awareness, to be conscious, to be aware of what we are doing while we are doing. Some people, as a coping mechanism, have a journal of emotions. That may be different things. Maybe you just talk with someone, talk with a friend, just talk a little bit about how you are feeling, because if you don't pay attention to those emotions, then there would be repercussions in your behavior, and that the emotional eating that happens is not good either for your physical body or for your mental health or for your emotions. So it's all going round and around. So I think the most important thing is to be aware how you feel, because all this sadness, sometimes being bored, it's something that makes people eat. You know, I'm staying around home, I'm watching movies, I'm a bit bored, I eat. But it's not because I'm hungry, just because I'm bored and I will snack something. But if you're not starting to have, you know, in the physical hunger, you start to feel it step by step. And it's not the urgent, I need to eat something now. You start to feel it step by step. When you go to eat, then when you eat and you allow yourself to enjoy what you're eating, you feel satisfied. But unfortunately, in the emotional eating, you eat and you cannot control, you cannot stop. And it happens and it comes gradually. It doesn't come gradually, it comes suddenly. And then you find yourself not being able to stop. And that is because you're trying to shut down your emotions. So, what would be better to do is to be aware of the emotions, talk with someone, clear things up, start to understand why you are feeling the way you're feeling, and this way you will find other coping mechanisms that can help you not be in that situation anymore. We can, of course, have snacks, but it would be better to plan healthier snacks. And I can give you an example. So many people have a sudden craving for chocolate. And sometimes that may mean that your body needs magnesium. And a way to cope with that is to eat, for example, nuts, or to eat fresh fruits or vegetables. There are other types of snacks that we can have. Of course, from time to time, everyone, we are human, yeah. We are allowed to eat some chocolate or some cake from time to time, but to not become a habit and to not become the thing that you do because you're shutting down an emotion. If you're consciously eating, like if it's a choice that you make, today I want to eat a piece of cake. Okay, go enjoy it. But don't make that something that you try to shut down your emotions or something that you eat every day. And it's important to plan what you're eating, to plan your meals, to have your meals around the day with protein, with fiber. And I recommend the whole grain carbs because they give you energy. And sometimes here is another discussion, because sometimes another reason why people snack is because they don't eat enough and their body is lacking some nutrients. And many people try to have a diet or to look better, and they eat lots of salads, which is good, but not only salad with vegetables. You need some protein. Many people, if they don't have the protein or if they don't have the whole grain carbs to give them energy and to keep the energy constant, they may be in a situation where they don't feel good, they don't have energy, they feel like they want to fight with everyone. And that sometimes happens because you don't eat enough. Yeah, so it's another thing that may happen if you don't plan your meals, because if you plan your meals and you put protein, you put vegetables, you put fiber, you have the whole grain carbs, that would give you energy, will give you nutrients, and the cravings will start to slow down, because when you give your body what it needs, it won't come back for something else. So this is why it's important, of course, depending on the schedule of every person, but having at least the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's very important for your body. This is something very important. If someone has a tight schedule, has a more physical activity, can put some snacks, but some healthy snacks, like some nuts, some yogurt, some other types of things that can bring energy and can help the body. So will not go afterwards at 1 a.m. to open the fridge and look for things around there.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for that elaborate explanation. So, Gabriela, let's go to our next question, which is, can you share some strategies for us to recognize and differentiate emotional? I know that you've touched on it a bit, but like, to properly differentiate emotional hunger from physical hunger.
Sure. Well, as I was saying, the physical hunger starts gradually. So a strategy would be to be aware of how you feel and to start being aware of your body. Many times we aren't paying much attention to our body, but it's important to start understand it and start to help him. The hunger, the physical hunger, appears gradually, step by step. Your body sends to your nervous cells the signal that it's time to eat, and it doesn't appear suddenly. The need to eat can be postponed a little bit, so you can start to plan to prepare your meal. So you start to be a bit hungry, you go and prepare your meal, and then you sit and you eat your meal. On the opposite, the emotional eating is when you're having the craving from nowhere. You don't know from where it hit you, and you want in the right moment. You want to right in that moment. You want something salty or something greasy or something sweet. So it's something that you feel you cannot postpone. Another difference is where when you're physically hungry, you want a variety of food. As we talked, a little bit of protein, a little bit of vegetables, fiber, whole grain carbs. But when you have emotional hunger, you just want everything that you find, everything that something very, very specific, like a chocolate cake with 3 layers of cake and some nuts on top and something like that. Cravings can be different from person to person. Some people may want something very salty with a little bit of taste of I don't know what. So it's something very specific. When you're physically hungry, you aren't rushed. You take your time, you start to prepare, you enjoy your eating. When you're emotionally eating, you just want you grab something, you eat, and you feel like you cannot stop. You don't feel satisfied, and you maybe feel a little bit better for the moment, but in a few minutes you feel bad or sad or bored again. So it's something that only when you're eating and eating and eating, you're trying to shove down your feelings, but they don't go away because you need to pay attention to them. When you have the physical hunger, you eat, and your body feels the satiety that you are already full. Okay, it was enough. I'm satisfied. When you are emotionally eating, you cannot find that satisfaction. You feel that you would want to eat more and more and more. I know people that had a bag of sweets on near their bed, and just anytime they were stressed were doing that. So the behavior may be from something small to a pattern to a behavior that is not controllable. And in when that happens, I highly recommend to talk with someone, to talk with a specialist, a therapist, because it may be a behavior that you need a bit more attention. You start with the normal things that may happen. You start by paying attention, being aware on your body, start to understand a little bit how you are feeling, maybe talk with someone about how you feel. Always talking with someone makes us feel good. But if it starts to be a behavior that is starting to hurt you, and from that there may be other bad things that happen, like bullying and other emotional eating pattern that vary and develop a behavior of eating uncontrollably, then it's you can search for a bit more help. But returning to the strategies, I would say to be aware of your body, be aware of what you feel. I can give another example, isn't for emotional eating, but it's a thing that happens to everyone. So if you suddenly start to have a headache, the first thing people do is try to think which is the pill that would help them. But most of the times it helps if you just drink some water or take some air, go for a little walk. And those little things, paying attention to our body and how we feel are so important. And if that stress is continuously, for example, if a person emotionally eats and the stress is continuously, you may start to feel, okay, stay a little bit with yourself, put a little time in your calendar for you, it's me time, and start to think a little bit, what happens today that made me feel sad? What happened today that pissed me off? What happened today that made me feel angry, or whatever emotion the person is feeling? And if it helps, it may be something to get it out. You can write it. You can write what happened. You can think which interactions you had, and what specifically triggered you so that you had that upset feeling. And if it's possible to talk with someone to clear things up, sometimes even having an argument with a friend or your husband or something may create some some issues in the behavior of people. And I think the best strategy is just to talk, to communicate, to get it out, to not try to shove it down with food.
Wow. Wow. I appreciate everything you've said. In my life, I usually talk about paying attention to the mind. Most times when I talk about paying attention to the mind. But this also has to do with paying attention to your mind, but paying attention to what you eat, the food, the emotion you feel towards the food. It's kind of a different dimension from what I usually talk about. And I like the fact that you're bringing this, to my life as well. Thank you so much, Gabriella.
You're welcome. I think it's very important to be aware, and from our mind, everything goes. And
Yeah.
we need to understand which is our relationship with food. If we eat when we are stressed, if we eat even if you're not hungry, if we reward ourselves with food. For example, I know someone, a client of mine, that told me that she's doing everything for everyone. She's putting herself out there and working a lot to try to advance in her career. She does lots of things for her kids, for her family. She does everything for everyone. And she told me that sometimes she just feels that she deserves something for herself. And was the reason why from time to time, and at some point it was daily, that she rewarded herself with some sweets or something salty or whatever she was craving, because it was like rewarding, like I deserve something good after the day I had and after all the things I did for others. So I deserve this good snack, this sweet snack. But that is a behavior that happens and is not the best. And you need to try to find other strategies, because you can reward yourself by being healthy. You can reward yourself by going for a walk. You can reward yourself by meditating, but by taking a nice bath, by everything that makes you feel good, lighting some candles, putting some music, dancing a little bit, just staying on a sofa and just feeling good, just allowing yourself to feel. If you feel the need, and it's so important to reward yourself, but please don't reward yourself with food, because we live and we eat in order to live. We not live to eat.
Exactly.
So it's not the purpose of our being to eat all the time. Yeah, we use food in order to feed our body, in order for our body and our brain to be healthy. But it's not something that should happen because we feel like this and like that. It's important to reward yourself, but with good things, to appreciate yourself, to say nice things to yourself, to make time for yourself, to make time to read a book, to take a nice bath. It may be different things, going to a spa from time to time, maybe the smallest things, but those are some rewards. Taking care of yourself, I think, is the best reward you can offer yourself.
Yes. I like that. Taking care of yourself is the best reward that you can give to yourself. Yes, I like that. As you were talking, I was just thinking about my country. Like every weekend, we used to have parties, maybe wedding party or funeral party or some party, always party. We are happy people, and there's usually a lot of food. So we go to these parties. Sometimes we are hungry, sometimes we are full before we go to the party. But when we see the food, the smell of the food and everything, we still want to eat, right? But right now, after listening to you, I'm trying to tell myself that it's not every party I go to that I will need to eat. It's not every party I go to that I will need to eat. If I can take the food home, fine. If I can't take it home, I don't have to eat. You don't have to eat. So that is the message, part of the message I'm getting for myself. I don't know about the viewers. Once again, if you have anything to say as a viewer, you can put it in the comment section. So let's proceed quickly. My next question to you would be, I don't know if you have anything to say to what I said before we continue.
Yes, I completely agree, and I think it's very, very important to pay attention to what you're doing. It's very, very important.
Okay. So how does emotional eating affect our mental and physical well-being? Emotional eating affecting our physical and mental well-being. Okay.
Yeah. Well, to connect it to what you said earlier and to dive in a little bit, sometimes we eat because we want to feel good. For example, for when we go to a party, and eating became a mechanism, something that people do to feel good together. Because if we go, I will not go very deep into the psychology, is not my main specialty, but I studied a little bit of nutritional psychology in order to understand the connections. And beyond all this social eating, it's that feeling that you want to feel good, you want to connect, because is that feeling that you had when you stayed with your parents, with your grandparents, you were small, you were a child, you had no worry in the world, you were just eating together. I don't know, maybe for your people is the same, but for Romanians, we have also lots of parties, and in Christmas or Easter or different things, people gather and eat. It's a social habit, and it's normal to eat, but it's up to us to control. It's not to go every time and overeat, or to eat because someone else is eating and you feel bad and you eat even though you're not hungry. If you respect yourself, I think you start to put some limits, learn to say no. If you're not hungry, why to eat extra? You just, sometimes it's very important, because from a little thing like saying no to food when you're not hungry may lead to saying no when you do other things in your life. So it's important to put some boundaries. And how it affects emotional eating may affect your body, because if you eat too much, especially too much carbs, too much fat, everything needs to have a balance. What is too much may bring you lack of energy, may bring you overweight and different health issues, because many people, when they think about healthy living, they think about being fat or thin or doing some sports and something like that. But it's more than that. It's how we overall feel. It's how our body functions, is if our heart is healthy. If we eat too much fat, especially the trans fat, the saturated fat that is in all the processed foods, if you eat too much, is no one is saying you don't eat ever in your life, but if you eat too much, it starts to affect your heart, your liver, your circulation. There are so many issues nowadays with the overweight people, with the people with heart disease, with the people with fat liver, with the people with breathing issues, with so many issues, that with cholesterol, high cholesterol, and all that happens if you eat too much of some foods. If you eat too much saturated fat, too much processed foods, too much sweets, as I said, no one says to not eat ever, but if you eat too much, it affects your body. It affects your body, then it affects your self-image, because when you don't like yourself, when you look in the mirror, you start to develop some behaviors, your confidence decreases, and it's not good. If you find yourself at 1 a.m. in the fridge looking for a cake, you may eat the cake, but afterwards, what happens? We start to say words to ourselves, usually bad words. I am like this, I am like that. I don't want to say, because everyone has their own way of, unfortunately, criticizing, but you start to criticize yourself, you start to blame yourself, you start to say, oh, I ruined everything, why I did this, I am like this, I am like that, and you start to have issues with yourself. Among that, what other things happen when you are losing balance in your life, and you start with food? If you eat too much, or you eat too little than what you need, it may affect your overall energy. Many people wake up in the morning already tired. When nowadays it started to be normal, but it's not normal. When we wake up, we should feel energized. We should feel good. We should be ready for the day.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you feel tired from the first moment you wake up, something is not okay. There may be some nutrients that you need. Maybe you need some water. Maybe you need to sleep better. Maybe buy a new mattress or a new pillow, or work out more, or just go in nature. Because, for example, many people say, "Oh, I don't have time to work out." But okay, let's start slowly. Let's say step by step. Leave your car a little bit farther and walk a little bit. Instead of taking your car to the supermarket every time, just walk a little bit. Just by walking, it has so many benefits for our body, for our health, for our brain. It's crazy. And people nowadays are always struggling. Oh, I want to be, and of course, everyone wants to be a good professional, and they work and they work and they work. But it's important to take care of yourself, because how you want your body, your brain to function if you don't take care of yourself. If you don't eat, I know people who didn't eat anything throughout the day, anything. And they wanted the brain to function, to be performant, to have meetings, to be the best. But that it's not normal. You're forcing your brain, you're forcing your body. And then, of course, when you get home, you would eat the whole, everything that you have in your fridge, because you deprived yourself from food. You didn't give energy, because food is energy. Food provides our body energy. But too much energy we don't have what to do with it unless we move a lot. And to less energy, we force our body, and it starts to create some deficiencies. If you don't eat, it starts to create some deficiencies, and then the behavior of overeating, it's more frequent. So everything should have a balance. I think it's very important to have a balance in order to feel good, to for our brain to function well, and to be in the optimum health.
Wow. Thank you so much. Talking about working so hard, I know someone who works so hard and hardly finds the time to rest. And I keep saying to this someone, you need to find time to rest. I'm going to show the person this video and see if it will make some difference as well. So yeah, thank you for that enlightenment. Waking up in the night and going to snack, yeah? If you have been able to identify that you have this kind of problem, then why leave a cake in your fridge? Why
Yes.
hanging around, So
Yes.
conversation, maybe that would be a starting point.
Yes.
So I will say something about that. I don't know if you have a response for that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, because if you start to be aware, and emotional eating appears. If you have, let's say, if you have in your fridge only healthy food, you cannot go too far. Maybe you eat a little bit too much, but it cannot create so much bad things. But if you have in your house all the sweets and the fat foods and the salty foods, maybe it's something that you should think about to start to remove it, because you when you are hungry, you eat what you have, and if you prepare your meal, you will eat healthy foods. If you're not hungry but you have a craving, if you have healthy foods in your fridge, you can if you cannot resist and you cannot cope with the other tools that we said, with talking with someone, with acknowledges how you feel, with making a journal or going for a walk or drinking some water or stuff like that, at least if you really want to eat, make sure you have something healthy in your fridge so that the impact is not so bad for your health.
That's true. Sometimes, when I go to the supermarket to do my own shopping, I see a lot of people shopping for, like, I see that it's not like I go looking into their carts, but I see that they have a lot of unhealthy stuff in their cart. Especially at the end of the month when everybody has gotten their salary, they're going for shopping. You see a lot of unhealthy stuff in the cart. And sometimes it scares me actually, because to be frank, I have tried over the years, my family, we've tried over the years to live healthily. We try. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's
Yes.
something that you're on it, for the long haul. So I'm kind of used to going to the supermarket and just focusing on the healthy part, healthy
Yes.
things, try to buy. But when I see people and their shopping carts, it's just scary sometimes. I think people should do better.
Yeah.
We should tend to our bodies. We have only one body. We should appreciate the body. We should attend to it nicely. We should take care of our bodies.
Yes.
And we can't be doing that by eating everything that we want to eat, everything that we feel like eating, or everything we see on the shelf that looks good to us.
Yeah.
So
If that happens for different reasons, I completely agree. That may happen because the person who goes shopping is hungry and sees something good that looks and smells good and just put in the cart. And this is a lesson: never go shopping when you're hungry. Make sure you eat before you go shopping so that you don't feel the temptation. And the other reason can be that, unfortunately, people don't have the nutritional education. And this is a main reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm having a project of nutritional education where my mission is to help people understand how to have a healthy living and how to have better habits. And step by step, if you want to have a better lifestyle, there are some principles that you know, and there are some principles that you can learn, because nowadays we have access to lots of information. Just if you start to search a little bit, even if you search for the basic stuff and start to replace some processed foods with eating at home, or taking your lunch from home to work, or different things like that, or instead of a chocolate you start to put some fruits. It may be weird in the beginning, but you need to step by step. And nothing just starts just like that. Step by step, not having a cake in the fridge, not going to the supermarket when you're hungry. Start putting a fruit in your bag, and when you go to work, start putting water in your car, on your desk, in your house, because when you see it, you will drink it. You don't like water, put some fruit in it, dissolve some vitamins, have a better taste, and you can drink it. As I said with the movement, you don't need to sleep in the gym. Just go outside, go and walk. People nowadays don't walk, and especially people who work at a desk or having office jobs, they sit all the day on a desk, they sit in the car, they sit on the couch, and then go to sleep. And this is not healthy for our body, and this is not healthy for our brain. If you're just staying and typing all the day and you don't go to drink water, to walk a little bit, to socialize, you will not be able to be performant. You're fooling yourself. If you're starting to feel a little bit and to think a little bit about what you're doing, you're not actually productive. You're just doing some things automatically. And this is where we should start to, again, be aware, be conscious of what we are doing, and start to pay a little bit more attention about this nutritional education, start to understand, because things should not be, you eat this because I tell you. Things should be, and the way I'm working with the people I support in their weight loss journey or their energy journey or their overall well-being journey is to personalize on the person's lifestyle and to help the person understand why this food is good, why this food is not good, and he makes the choice. So you make the conscious choice. If you know this food is good, you put it in your meals. If you know this food is not so good, but you still want to eat it, you are consciously deciding to eat it. But then should not be daily, because it's always about the balance and not having too much quantity, and it's a lot about the quality of food, and starting to put step by step, put some vegetables, put some fruits, put some water in our carts, may be a very good start to have a healthier lifestyle.
Can you share some success stories, some examples of individuals who have overcome emotional eating?
Oh, yeah.
What are the techniques that or practices that you use to help them?
Okay. Well, I have many examples here. Myself, I was a person who confronted with this. When I was a kid, I was overweight. When I was a teenager, I was overweight. When I was a young adult, I was overweight. I always struggled with this, and I tried to eat, I thought I eat healthy because I was eating how I learned in my family. I had the grandparents in the countryside, and I tried to eat all the natural products, but there were some little things like the rewards from the friends or family friends that came and bring me sweets because I was a little kid, and oh, let's go there and bring her some sweets, and different things that happened during the years. And at some point I was working a lot because the example that I told you are both from my personal experience and from the experience of my clients. So I was in those shoes. I was eating a lot, and I was working a lot, and I wasn't aware with what is happening with my life. And what made a difference for me was the moment I said stop. When, unfortunately for me, was the moment when I fainted on the street because I didn't eat too much because I was on a diet. And then I fainted on the street, and when I came home, I ate too much. So it was totally not okay behavior that happened, and I said stop. I need to find a solution. I need to start to pay attention to what I'm doing. And I started to put a little bit of fruits, put a little bit of vegetables, and then I decided to ask for help from a wellness coach. I myself had a coach who taught me why to eat like this, how it helps, and I started to eat healthier. I started to have the meals, to make time for the meals, because before I wasn't eating in the morning, and this is the first step that is very important, to eat in the morning, to eat at lunch, to eat at dinner, to prepare food in advance, to drink water, to walk. And for me, it helped to have someone to talk to help me with my struggles, and by offering my body what it needed throughout the day, I didn't feel the need of cravings. And that happened. I can offer another example for a client of mine I'm thinking right now. She was is the person that I told you, she had a bag with sweets near her bed, and every time she felt sad or depressed, or she was fighting with someone, or he just felt bored, or watching movies and whatever, she grabbed the snack and she was eating. And she started, beyond the fact that she started to be overweight, she started to not like her person, to not have energy, to feel overall well-being was very down. And when we started to work together, I started to work with her on different dimensions. Firstly, to make a plan, to plan the meals, to make sure we put meals throughout the day with diversified food so that she gets the nutrients that she needs, because she was avoiding, for example, she was avoiding carbs to not lose weight, but she was eating lots of sweet. So it was not a great choice that she had. And what I did was teaching her how to put protein, whole grain carbs, fiber, healthy fats. And when she started to eat and offer the body the nutrients, step by step, the cravings reduced gradually. She started to drink water, she started to move. And we were talking because, of course, she had some moments when she was upset with something happening at work, and she was calling me, Gabriela, I'm feeling like eating, what do I do? And we started to work together to talk, to understand what was happening, and I advised her to go for a walk, to drink some water, so to not go through that behavior of eating what you have based on your emotions. And step by step, she overcame that. And I was very happy when I saw that she was able to feel better again. She was losing the weight, she was regaining energy, and most important, she was regaining control over her life. And that was very important. And I think in coaching, this is something that makes the difference, because we are working with people to help them understand how to understand themselves, how to control themselves, how to respect their body, their mind. And I'm thinking of something that I teach the people I work with, and I apply for myself. And I think it's very important. When you start to put yourself as a priority in your life, everything changes. I saw so many changes in my life, in my family life. I helped my mother, my father, my brother, all my friends and family started the nutrition journey with me because they saw how good I was feeling. And I'm so happy to see that they feel good, they are healthy, they can go on with their life. And I think it's very important that feeling where you are in control of of your life, when you put yourself a priority, when you take care of yourself, when you are aware of your body, when you are aware of your mind, and you make conscious decisions, because it's everything about decisions. As you started this life, if you put garbage in your body, it's your choice. If you put healthy food in your body, it's your choice. Maybe it sounds a bit tough, but it's true. It's our choice. It's us that we are controlling the fork and the knife. It's no one obliging us to eat. We are the ones that control. We are the ones that are in control of our lives. We should never let other people make us feel that we aren't in control, because we are. Every decision, everything that we do, it's in our control. And if you don't know, start to ask for help, start to do the little steps. As I said, something that everyone can do. Drink more water, put water everywhere so that you see it and you drink it. Go more for some walks, put some fruits and vegetables in your daily life, schedule your meals, make sure that you have the breakfast, because this is how you start the day. Make sure that you have a lunch. If you want to be productive at work, it's important to have your lunch, because if you have a lunch with saturated fat, with refined food, like fast food and stuff like that, I don't know if our viewers can identify, but you feel like sleeping afterwards and you're not productive. And what happens is that afterwards you want something sweet, and afterwards you want something salty. And it creates a behavior, because if you start to eat too many simple carbs, you have those cravings and the spike, and your glycemia is going up and down, and it's riding, and it's not funny for your body, because it should be on a balanced level, and in order for you to function properly. So with the little things, with the little choices, making time for ourselves, being aware of our feelings, talking with people, and putting together all these mechanisms, I think it's something that can help us really change our lifestyle. And it all starts with our mindset. If we tell to ourselves, I can do it, I'm in control of my life, I'm in control with what I'm doing, I am a priority, I'm important. It's not only work, kids, lots of activities. What about us? If we are not okay, how who will work? Will not come someone else to work. It's us who need to work. If we are not okay, who will take care of the kids? If we are not okay, who will do all those activities? Sometimes life sends some messages, and some people find themselves with some health issues, unfortunately, and it's a message from your body to wake up, take care of yourself, because if you don't make time for your health, you will be forced at some point hope not, but you may be forced to make time for sickness, and it's something that we don't desire for everyone to experience. So this is why we should prevent, to not let ourselves to arrive in those situations where we are critical and we need to have a drastic measure in order to come back. We should fight it. We should work with prevention. We should do our best to set our mind into being a healthy person. And it goes around the habits, the behavior, the identity. If because with your little habits, if you're starting to have a little habit today, you do it again tomorrow, you do it again the other day, you start to develop a behavior that makes you become the kind of person that takes care of herself. And if you work with your identity, this is something that I learned, and it helped me a lot. The Atomic Habits book that I read, and helped me so much into understanding that everything goes from our mindset. If we put in our mind, I am the type of person that is healthy, I am the type of person that takes care of herself, then with the little habits that became behavior, we gain our self-confidence back, and we find our balance, and we can be good physically and emotionally.
Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you so much for today's live. We know that watching movies is synonymous with eating popcorn and drinking Fanta. And as we even have this live now, as we are having this live, there are parents who are conditioning their children in that manner, yeah, as we speak. There's something like that going on. So how do we, I don't know, how do we break this kind of habit? Because it has to be broken from the roots. I think this is a fight. I'm not putting this question to you though. I'm just thinking in my head that this is a fight that's going to take even that should involve even the establishment, because you see the movie industries, that is what they advertise. Your popcorn is here, in fact, giant size, and you drink. So I hope we are able to spread the word more so that even they can hear and try to adjust their own program.
Yes, it's very important, and you are very right.
Yes, once the companies start doing it, the parents will start to do it as well. So it all boils down to the company. But usually these companies, they are all for the profit. So I think we are on our own to fight this battle. We are actually to fight this battle. So
you're very right. I think it's very important. Indeed, it's something that happens and is socially promoted, and it's transmitted from generation to generation. And I think it's important to be conscious about that. And I think we should start with planning our meals. Like if you have the dinner with your family, spending the time, that social habit, having the dinner with your family, you should not be having a popcorn in front of the TV. Start first having the dinner, talk without the screens, because this is something important. When we eat, we should not watch screens, because if we eat and watch screens, we cannot control how much we are eating, and we should be aware of what's happening and eat before the movie. And maybe at the movies can start with something else. Like maybe take some healthy snacks, make some vegetables, make some guacamole and some finger vegetables, and eat something that can be a snack. You can still enjoy it, but it's something healthier. Can be different behaviors, different things that happen. It's a lot of practice, but we should not be eating and watching TV, movies, whatever. We should work on this and just enjoy. We should work with being present. If I'm watching a movie, I'm watching a movie. Okay, maybe I take a bottle of water and I drink from it. Maybe I take some little things, but you should eat before the movie, not eat during or after, but not during. We should be present. When I'm talking to you, I'm here talking to you. When I'm talking with my partner, I'm there 100%. When I'm working, I'm there 100%. I know it's hard. It's not easy. It didn't happen to any of us suddenly, but it's training ourselves to be present in the moment. When I'm talking with my kids, when I'm spending, I don't have kids, but for people who have, when they play with their kids, they should be there. When they watch a movie, okay, be there. When you read a book, be there. Not do two things in the same time. Today it's such a trend. Oh, I'm so multitasking, but it's not something so good, especially if it involves eating while doing something else. You should eat when you're hungry, and if you start paying attention to your body, it tells you when you're hungry, and you eat, and that's it. You move on. You don't live to eat. We have so many other things to enjoy in our life. We can enjoy time with our family without the all the kind of snacks. We can make a tea. There are so many other things. It's a social habit. It's something that transmits from generation to generation, and this is a call for awareness. It's not something easy to change, but let's think: do I really need to eat while I'm watching a movie? If I'm not hungry, why I'm eating?
Why am I
Does
eating?
it help me? Does it help me feel energized? It helps me feel good? Gives me something nutrients? No. If I already ate, I don't need to overeat. We shouldn't eat when we are not hungry. And in order to understand when we are hungry, I think it's important to pay attention to our body, to be present in our body, because this is something that unfortunately people aren't so trained to do. We are so used to live automatically and do so many things automatically. And in order to break those patterns, there are some little things like you can go to work maybe to another road. You can go for a walk to another road, not your usual one. You can use the things around your house from time to time, so you don't do the automatic things over and over again. You should try to change a little thing, so you make your body think, so you help your body to create new neuronal waves. You shouldn't do the same thing over and over again and leaving yourself on automatic pilot. We are not robots, we are people, we are human. And there are so many habits that we were taught, we see others doing, and we think is normal. But I think we can create together a new normality when we are more aware of ourselves, of our health, or of our mind, of our emotions, of our body. And if we win that battle, we can do everything.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to also add to what you have said. So if you're feeling loneliness, if you're feeling lonely, go out and hang out with a friend,
Yes.
reach out to a friend, call somebody, if you have to go meet up with the person, go meet up with the person. Or you go play some sports, go and learn a new skill, how to play the guitar, musical instruments.
Yes.
Just pick up a new hobby. If you're sad and you're feeling like aimless or lost in the world, sometimes you have all these kind of feelings. Go and volunteer. Go into the world and do some good to somebody.
Yes.
When you do that, there is that feeling of joy that you get from helping people. That can take you out of that feeling of being lost. The acknowledgement that you were able to help somebody who was in a situation, you were able to give something to somebody today, lend a hand to somebody today.
Yes.
If you're feeling stressed, look for a way of relaxation, do some exercise. You said all that. So I want to also say that every addiction is a habit, yeah, and it takes time. You have said all that. So let's walk through our emotions. Yeah, when we're eating, be present. Be present. It's an art. It's an art that you have to develop. I come from a place where we just eat. All these things I know today, I didn't know them. And if I'm able to know them now, it means that anyone can also learn them. When you're eating, be present, enjoy, savor the food, the flavors, the different flavors of the food, the taste, everything about the food, just the texture, savor all that. If you want to go watch movies, stay and focus on the movie and the details of the movie, not doing two things at the same time. So I really want to thank you for being on this live. And I want to say to my viewers that, remember, if you are able to identify that emotion that you're feeling, right? Eating the food will not stop that emotion. If it's
Yes.
loneliness, eating that food is not going to take away that emotion. Also, not eating the food, like stopping yourself, also, okay, I'm feeling this emotion now. I've been told I shouldn't eat food, so I'm not going to eat. That also will not solve the problem. You need to go and solve that problem. Whatever that problem is, you need to go and focus on the problem and solve the problem. So that is how I want to end the live. If there's anything you need to add before we close it, we do that.
Yes, I totally agree. It's very important to go and understand what we feel and cope with those emotions. Do something about it. Go straight to understand what is that emotion. Do something about it. Act on it, and you should start feeling better. Because as we talked, eating is helping our body. It's providing our body with nutrients, with energy, but it's not a way to shove down your emotions. They will never go away if you just put food and don't pay attention to what what it is about. And it's very, very important. Go talk with that someone that you had an argument. Go fight with that feeling, as you very, very well said. Go out, talk with people, meet friends, do activities, and that loneliness, that feeling will go away. And I liked very much that what you said about when you're sad. It's so important. Go help someone else. If you help someone else, you will automatically start feeling better. And it's very important to start to differentiate our emotions with our behavior of eating. Eating, it's part of our life, but it's not all our life. We are social people. It's important to take care of ourselves, to socialize, to do our things, to meet, spend time with family, spend time with friends, evolve, learn something new. There are so many things. Find something that makes you passionate. Find something that gives you purpose. Start being with yourself, because running from yourself will not lead you anywhere. It's important to stay with yourself. Acknowledge that emotion, even if you don't like it. Stay with it, acknowledge it, live it, start to find solutions, and your life will become better. And I think we are able to do anything. We are able to do anything we put our mind to. You are able to do whatever you want. If you think about moments in your life when you really wanted something, I'm sure you can think that when you wanted something, you worked on it many times, you succeeded. So that happens with everything. If you put your mind into something, work for it, you will succeed absolutely everything you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Paris HD, thank you for joining us. We've come to the end of today's live. If you want an in-depth one-on-one session or solution to your emotional eating problems, you can reach out to Gabriela. I don't know, how can they reach you? On Instagram, on Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram, yes, I'm available on all platforms. So with pleasure, I can respond to any question.
Okay. And you can also send me a DM and I can forward to her. So it's not a problem. Thank you guys for coming to join us in today's live. We've come to the end. Have a great evening. Gabriela, thank you so much for doing this with me. I appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah?
Sure. Thanks you a lot. Have a great evening, everyone.
All right then. Take care. Bye.
Bye.